Hey everyone, welcome to Mongrels Garage. Today we're not doing our usual routine. We're at my buddy Matthew's shop, Tecmotion. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I'll put a link up here. And he's got his own YouTube channel, lots of good stuff on there. Go give him a sub and check things out. All right, so we're back on the 67 Mustang. What are we doing here? Well, we're gonna put it on the dyno. We're gonna see how much that original 289 makes. Put your guesses down below. Should be kind of interesting. It does have a couple slight mods. We got the wine intake on it, correct?
That's right, yeah.
And then we got the Holley Sniper fuel injection system on there. So it should bump it up a little bit, but I still don't think it's going to make a whole lot of power. What do you guys think?
Well, my guess is 147, which I thought was pessimistic, but I'm being told is optimistic. So
people pine away for the muscle car era. The muscle car era is right now.
Yeah, exactly. When you compare it to some of the modern vehicles, she might be a little wheezy and a little queasy, but it's still a fun car to cruise around in. We did convert it to a 5-speed. Anyone that's watched the channel, you might have caught glimpses of that. Now, why are we doing this? Well, we got an announcement coming up, and I told you I'd reveal it soon. I gave you kind of a hint. We're doing a 4,000-mile road trip, and that's over 6,500 kilometers. Why are we doing that? Well, we're headed down to Arkansas, not Arkansas, Arkansas. And we're going to partake in a multi-channel YouTube build where we're taking a 96 Volvo estate wagon.
Hey there, dudes with wrenches here. Let's talk about what we're doing. I'll tell you what we're doing. We're gonna get with a lot of other great guys from the old YouTubes. I'm gonna put their descriptions down below. We're gonna build ourselves a car. And what this video is showing you where that car came from, where we pulled it from, and maybe a little bit of what we're doing. I don't know. You'll have to check those guys out because they can fill you in a little more on where this car is gonna end up. For right now, we're gonna show you where it came from. Hope you enjoy.
Here she is, boys. The old Volvo wagon.
Oh, easier than I thought.
Give her a once over since we can get around her now. Like I said before, it's a wagon, it's a Volvo. Somebody liked Bernie, and she is a 960.
Put in a 6-liter LS engine in it.
And welcome to 113 Cycles. This is an LS engine. I'm betting you're wondering why it's sitting in our motorcycle shop. Well, stay tuned to this video and we're going to explain all about this.
So stay tuned on the channel. I'm going to list some of the other channels, give you links, go check them out. This is going to be an awesome build, and hopefully we can get the Mustang done in time and cruise down there in it. But it's going to be a tight finish because we're upgrading the engine in this, and we're checking our baseline. Let's get started.
Can you tell me a little bit about this car?
Sure. So power, it has the original 289. I've put a Holley Sniper EFI setup on it. The transmission is a T5 out of an 85 Mustang.
Straight out of the junkyard almost.
Yeah, actually the story there is there's a kid up in Edmonton who does a lot of drifting, had about 7 of these things sitting around and said pick one. Seems like I picked the good one because it still works, still shifts. So I bought that for $225. So there's my T5 tranny, and then the rear end's just a stock 8-inch in it currently. It's a peg leg. I do have a 9-inch with Posi 350 gears that I'm cleaning up to put into this vehicle.
And there might be a reason why we have that, because it's not for this wheezy 289. We do have a. Well, we got a little announcement coming up.
Yeah, we have plans.
Yeah, we have
Right.
plans.
Are you allowed to talk about your plans here, or
I think we can divulge some of it. Chris, you want me to take it? Or
at least the
you-
broad
Go ahead.
strokes, maybe?
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking the 289 out, we're wrapping it up, we're setting it aside. We've got a 306 that we built up that's going in here. The idea being is, you know, he wants a good daily driver with a little bit of weekend fun. So we don't want to go too wild, but don't want it too mild either.
Tell me about the exhaust.
So I actually have 2 sets of headers. I haven't decided which. I have some long tube chromies that I bought 15 years ago for the mock, and they've just been sitting around. I also have some, what they call block huggers, shorties, and those I believe are 2.5 inch at the collector. It's true dual, yeah. I do have subframe connectors I want to put in here, and so you know Brent and I'll need to do some mocking up and seeing if we can get, because I'd like to have like an X in there. I think that's the sound I like the most out of the 3 options. So I'm not too worried about performance, whether I get a couple percentage points one way or the other, because the most this will see for racing is, you know, maybe a little bit of fun around the course, stuff like that. Holly Sniper setup, and that includes the throttle bite or TBI. So Holly actually makes a replacement fuel tank for these cars that drops right in. So it has the baffled tank in there, but the MST style distributor, and of course you have all the Sniper electronics and stuff here. This does have front wheel disc brake conversion. Also have Ramble's rack and pinion, power steering rack and pinion conversion, and that is epic. That's probably my favorite conversion of all.
It really improved the handling of the car.
Oh,
a lot,
huge.
like, huge. That's night and day difference in this car, having that
Yeah,
rack pinion in there.
I put a power rack in that 67, and I mean honestly, with the ride tech setup and the power rack, when that car was done, it drove like one you just drove off the lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. And you know, I remember I had a 68 when I first moved to Calgary, and it had a fairly used steering box, so a fairly worn one. And I remember going down the highway at about 120 or so, and I would just basically tap it one way or the other to try to keep it straight, because there's like this much play.
No, let's be clear, that's 120 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, 120 clicks,
Yeah, that's
120 I wouldn't be here to discuss it. It was not that great a
yeah,
steering.
you'd be off in the ditch someplace. No, never.
Do a little switcheroo on the engine, and I'll probably go to a TKX transmission along with a 9-inch, and then I'm done with this one. It's on to the mock, at least for now.
For now, yeah.
So really, we're looking at a stalker here that we're going to baseline to see where we started.
Pretty
and
much.
then it's going to turn into every nut and bolt changed car.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's had a few of the nuts and bolts changed already, but as far as the drivetrain goes, except for the transmission, it's pretty stock still.
Do you guys have a timeline on when you think this will be done?
Well, in fact, yes we do.
Yes, we do. We would like
In a week?
Yeah, just about. We're looking to have this done by the end of the month, because we're looking to possibly do a 4,000-mile road trip in this car.
Wow, that's funny because I voted for the Dodge on your channel
Yeah.
for that trip. I'll tell you what though, when you drive one of these across America, you can buy parts at every Napa.
Absolutely.
Where maybe even though your dog's only 10 years old or whatever, you might not be able to get parts.
I'll tell you what, the Charger, we know has the better creature comfort, the better ride and stuff like that. This definitely has the bigger cool factor, and it will be getting a lot more looks in this than, a stock RT Charger.
Yeah, I'm with you. Way cooler trip, way riskier trip if you built it yesterday, jumped in.
There's a bit of risk there, but
yeah. Arkansas, is that where you're going?
Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This motor is 55-year-old motor now. This motor has not been rebuilt. At least that's what the previous owner described to me. They said it was stock. Honestly, from a bolt-on perspective, everything I've done with this car is something that probably a novice to intermediate enthusiast could do. I don't believe that there's anything I've done here, or that Brent and I have done collectively, that wasn't fairly advanced, with the exception of the Holly Sniper, and actually not so much installing the hardware. That was pretty easy, running lines, getting the sender and all that stuff. That was all pretty easy, but just getting it, the electrical set up and everything, right? Now, for a lot of folks, that might be super easy, but just for me, I don't have a lot of experience with
I
wires.
think, you know, they sell it for enthusiasts to install, but if in doubt, you should bring it to Tecmotion.
Yeah,
Because I put them in for guys all
Yeah.
the time.
Well, you remember, Matt, when I first came here, I came here when I first installed this, and you spent an evening with me, and we did a bit of troubleshooting, and it was mostly there, but we had to do a few tweaks.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's right. Your project, I gave a little troubleshooting to. As a matter of fact, I think, if I remember right, I got a phone call the day you guys were putting it in because the guy who was helping you that day is a Pontiac guy.
We all know who you are too.
we love you, man.
Yeah.
And I think he had the wrong spark plug numbering order.
Yeah, it's quite
Because
possible.
Ford's a whole different.
Yeah, it's a
ballgame.
completely
Yeah.
different ballgame. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So looks like a great project. I'm always a little nervous about lighting up a never opened up 55-year-old motor.
And the one option that the viewers might want to bet on is a fireball and tears. So, but we'll hope for the
I don't
best.
think we're gonna have that. I think it'll hold together. Just
Yeah, let's not have a fireball.
fine.
Yeah, please.
And if we do, guess who gets to see it?
We're gonna load it up on the dyno and get a look at a baseline on it, and then after everything's done, I guess you guys are gonna bring it back, and we're gonna get a look at how you did with the project. All right. Well, and then we'll get into it on the dyno. Because they don't melt or cut, fray. They're not susceptible to exhaust heat.
All very good things.
I see guys using straps all the time, but I think that's a contributor to some of these dyno things that goes down. This stuff is tied down with a custom tie-down system here that I got Chris from Monotonium to make.
Yep.
And it's held in with 8 concrete anchors. So
Well, that should keep it tied in pretty good, I think.
you can hold on to a lot of power.
Yep.
We only just snug those, and then we're going to tighten it in the front. And that'll keep the car sitting the way we want it. Well, you strap it down like you would on a trailer, so the whole car is held in place from both ends. And then if you deal with modifieds, now this car is not going to be big power, so we don't have to go too nuts here.
That last gets like 87. It wouldn't surprise me too much.
successfully completed the dyno pull, and we got the number, but let's just have a little conversation first. How did it go, Matthew?
The balancer on this car, when I inspected it, looks pretty rough. I think it's original, and that's typical on these balancers where the outer ring is retained by a rubber retainer.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I would be very nervous about doing a long tuning session on. And because of the balancer state, I only went to 4,500. But it was enough, I think, to pick the top. And, you know, I think the car was very strong for what it is.
I think it kind of surprised us, to be honest. It gave a little more than we were expecting, and that might be due to that wine intake on there, and that Holly Sniper might have helped bump it up there.
They all help a little bit.
Yeah.
I know the Sniper alone can make an honest-to-God difference.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that is a good product. It works well. The exhaust on this is awfully restrictive too.
Yeah, when I got under there to inspect it, it's like 1 3/4 non-mandrel true dual.
Yeah,
So
it's got some booger welds on it, stuff like that. Cast iron manifolds.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, whatever, the motor isn't setting the world on fire,
No.
so maybe this exhaust isn't that bad, but you know, there's a reason they put crossovers on exhaust.
absolutely, and like you said, it is still true dual, and this thing's making, well, we won't reveal that yet. So Chris, what did you think?
To be honest, I'm really happy with the results overall. The old girl held in there and didn't blow up. That was my primary concern, especially after learning about the balancer.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, overall, it got cleared out really nice. Like when Matt hit the gas, it looked like a diesel truck for a bit there,
Yeah.
running a bit rich. But after subsequent pulls, it cleared up. So
Yeah, it did leave a little bit of black on the wall, but that did clean itself up.
who knew dyno pulls could be preventative maintenance?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a tech tip for you. So if you need some preventative maintenance, come on down and see Matthew. Get some of that done.
I would like to say and take the time to say thank you, Matthew, for letting us use your facilities, for your expertise and your help. You're a great guy. I know you have a great reputation around the car shows, and I'm happy to finally get down here and experience this with you. It was a really, really fun experience. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. I know I drove this car on the street a year or two ago, and it's good to finally see it on the rollers.
And it's nice that you pointed out a couple things that we got to take care of. We appreciate that, so we'll get on that as well. Fortunately, this engine is coming out, and it's getting that 306 in there, and we'll see what that one makes. And I imagine that number's going to climb a fair bit. So.
It'll be like a night and day difference.
Oh yeah. So make sure you put your guesses down below in the comment section. How much power you think we made? Now, the big reveal. How much power did it make? I think we'll save that for the next video. What do you guys think? All right, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode. And thank you again, Matthew.
You're welcome.